Hello Iron Dylan, it's Megan coming with another gameplay video. This week I'm going to go over some visual changes that happened during playtests as well as some gameplay changes. So first I'm going to go over the visual changes. First and foremost, the most noticeable is there are now stand-up figures for each of the characters as well as each of the enemies, just as Ira suggested in my playtest with him, to sort of get closer to what the final product will eventually look like. So that's visual changes for the stand-up characters. There have also been a few visual changes for cards. First and foremost, the final quest cards now have a gray border to help differentiate them from regular quests and regular monsters at the beginning of the game. Another visual change is enemy cards and character cards now are a bit more easier to read. They have an attack value here, a defense value, a range value, and a movement value, as well as their HP in the center and their ability. Overall, it's just some visual changes to help better read the card and get rid of the need for any reference cards. So now to go on to the gameplay. So at the beginning of the game, you have the world tile deck. You put the guild tile onto the game board as shown, but instead of the game being played in rounds now, you now have what's called the boss tile. The world tile deck is a 50-card deck. At the beginning of the game, you divide it into two 25-card piles. One pile will go on the top, and one pile will go on the bottom with this card shuffled into it. You select the piles, shuffle them, and then put them together. So this will be in the bottom half of the world tile deck always. When this card is revealed, the final quest will trigger, rather than it just being triggered by a number of rounds. So let me just do that here. I'll shuffle that in, and then I will shuffle the top and put that on. Alright, so we have the world tile deck. Now for just a gameplay change, players now have 3 actions during their turn, and instead of the number of heroes corresponding to the number of players, there will always be 4 heroes in the game. This is just to help balance it and make it so a 2-player game isn't hamstrung by lack of heroes. Alright, so heroes, when they move, can move and reveal 1 world tile per turn, instead of being able to constantly move and reveal a bunch of tiles at once. So I'm going to move Adriana, the warrior. She has a movement speed of 2, so I'm going to move her off this way and reveal the top tile of the world deck and put it here. So that was her first move, and her second move is going to be there. And then it continues until all the heroes move. So enemies have been revealed here, so you reveal the top 3 cards of the enemy deck. We have a skeleton archer, a skeleton fighter, and a goblin. All of these more common enemies have been had their power reduced to make it easier for them to defeat early in the game. Each enemy also has a gold value now. When it's defeated, the heroes gain that much gold, and then that will come in a bit later. Just give me one moment. So I'm going to put those there and get some of the enemy figures and place them on the map, like so. And then I will continue moving the other characters. Alright, so now that we have enemies and a city revealed, I'm going to say how gold comes into play here. So if a character ends their turn on a city, or lands on a city, they can use an action to shop. So what that does is, if you land on a city, you reveal the top 3 cards of the item deck, like so, and those become the buyable items in that city. For towns, you only reveal 1 card since they're smaller. Items have a gold value on top of them, just like enemies do. It's hard to see here, but players can expend that much gold to buy that item. Buying items gets them ready for the much harder world bosses at the end of the game. I believe that getting gold from enemies is a good way to make combat more interesting and make it more of an incentive for players. So those are some of the big changes that have happened. Quests now reward gold. The fame concept has been removed, and I will be working on adding more interesting things to enemies, such as possibly experience and leveling up. For combat, combat has also changed. We now have special dice, like this. They are 12-sided dice, with swords, shields, 2 blank sides, a +1 side, and an X side. So in combat, if a player is attacking, they want to roll swords, which count as successes for an attack. If they're defending, they want to roll shields, which count as successes for defense. A +1 gives you an automatic +1 to your roll, no matter if you're attacking or defending. And an X gives you a -1, so it's like a fumble. This is different from the D6s that were previously used in combat. You still roll a number of dice equal to the character's attack or defense value. So those are some of the changes that have been made, and I think that I am starting to get closer to where I want to be with this game before the semester ends. Hope this video was helpful and helped illustrate the changes better. Thank you!